Welcome to the Process of Hip Hop. I'm Brian Joseph, writer, blogger at theprocessofhiphop.com. And as always, it's all about the process. I got my man, executive producer Dale Harewood, and I got our special guest, Derek Jackson, on the podcast today. So pleased to have him. So what's going on, man?
Good, man. Good. You know, let's throw that moniker out there because that my name sounds stiff. The moniker was L.A. Believe it or not, that was the journey. That was the name I took on that I carried from my humble beginnings and carried that through for quite some time in this business.
L.A. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, man, again, so pleased to have you. I'm so interested in hearing about your story, man. My first question, I wanted you to start with that point in time where, you might have always been interested in hip hop, but what was that point in time where you really consciously felt like, I'm interested in hip hop, this is something I want to pursue? Take me back to that point, man.
Well, for me, hip hop is a really, like you hear people acknowledge anything that they really appreciate greatly, they always call it their girl.
Welcome to the Process of Hip Hop. I'm Brian Joseph, writer, blogger at theprocessofhiphop.com. And as always, it's all about the process. I got my man, executive producer Dale. Welcome to the Process of Hip Hop. I'm Brian Joseph, writer, blogger at theprocessofhiphop.com. And as always, it's all about the process. I got my man, executive producer Dale Harewood, and I got our special guest, Derek Jackson, on the podcast today. So pleased to have him. So what's going on, man?
Good, man. Good. Let's throw that moniker out there because that my name sounds stiff. The moniker was L.A. Believe it or not, that was the journey. That was the name I took on that I carried from my humble beginnings and carried that through for quite some time in this business.
L.A. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, man, again, so pleased to have you. I'm so interested in hearing about your story, man. My first question, I wanted you to start with that point in time where, you might have always been interested in hip hop, but what was that point in time where you really consciously felt like, I'm interested in hip hop, this is something I want to pursue? Take me back to that point, man.
Well, for me, hip hop is a really, like you hear people acknowledge anything that they really appreciate greatly, they always call it their girl. If I were to kind of use that analogy, hip hop has been my girlfriend for the duration of my life, turned into my wife. I've been divorced. I got back involved. But that very moment where hip hop, the stars aligned, actually, man, it happened with the gentleman that's involved with us right now, Daryl Harewood. Hey, we're talking about 19. I don't want to use dates because I don't want him. He's trying to stay sexy. You know what I mean? I want to keep his sex appeal. You know what I mean? I think the older you get, we still find wine in it out here.
Yes.
But hip hop was making its convergence on LA in particular, right? And he and I were in school together, and we were a really unusually special elementary school. It was made up of kids from the neighborhood, but we had all the same elements as anybody else. But we lived in a gang infested area, so there was that speed in the current in the waters of where we grew up that led us to what was pop culture early on. And the one moment that kind of ushered it all in is Dale and I were in a play. And this play really was it was a moment of a true connection with art and creativeness and what it really meant to me. And Dale actually played a significant. He was a star in it, and I was one of the extras. I didn't get.
You didn't get a lead role, huh?
I didn't make it to the. I didn't make it to the. I didn't get a chair or a star yet, but and it was my crew, and me and my crew, we were the devilish kids in the school. We were a little bit out of control, and we were down there at rehearsals, in the cuts and cracks and crevices, enjoying the women, while Dale was on the stage committing to the script and his art form, and I'm in the back over in the corner trying to do something. It was always like that. But what that led to was we were in this play, and I was like, you know what, this is all right. I like art. This is kind of cool. This is touching me. Then one day, Dale and another student, they had got wind of a song that we all had not gotten. I'm honest enough, I didn't get it yet. So I heard it one day on K-Day, and Dale came to school and he rhymed it. And it was like, he was the first person I'd ever seen rap.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So you have to put in perspective how amazing this moment is that we're on this call and on this in this show. Nobody knows this story, not even Dale. I've been in the music business, and I'm talking about at the top of the pyramid for 35 years. Nobody knows that Dale was the source to my creative energy that led me to stay in this business and sustain over a lifetime.
What?
Because that day he decided that he was going to rap. Who was that did this? Wasn't that Rob? Wasn't it Robert?
It might have been Robert. I can't even remember, man. I just know because we did a couple.
It was two of you guys. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was two of you guys. You did the majority of the parts, and he did a part. But that was the moment that the light went on for me. And I was like, oh, man, I love this. This is incredible. And I couldn't put in words what I was feeling. I was like, damn, I want to do that. And mind you, I was in the 7th grade. And it just became instantly important to me to be a part of this, whatever this was, and because hip hop was fledgling. It was new. Nobody really knew what it was. It was sparse. We had various records that started to pop out of nowhere, like Toddy T's and the Ice T's and the 6 in the mornings. But that didn't register with me yet. What registered was Dale doing Rapper's Delight. And I was just like, God, and like I said, I cursed, so y'all gotta let me be me.
Nah, man, go and do your thing.
So I was like, God damn, did he just? What was that? And from that point forward, see, Dale doesn't understand. He became like my muse, and so the music became really important to me. And at that particular time, I was losing my mother to cancer. My father to drugs. I'm one of them black kids with that black story. And as all that was going on, I would, because of what he did, I would go home and listen to K-Day now. And K-Day became a cemented part of my existence to listen to hip hop. And then one day, I'm listening, and I hear this song called Roxanne Shante. And I get a phone call from New York. And I'm like, oh, and it was my aunt. And my aunt was like, listen, that's your cousin. I was like, huh? That's your cousin's song. And I'll never forget, my mother and I scrambled to get the radio out. We turned it on and we heard it. We called her back. We heard it. At that point, I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Dale, this is what Dale, I was open. Because from Dale, what he gave me and what I walked away with, and then to find out my cousin, who he was and what he did, I didn't know what to say then. Then I was stuck. So I realized and I found out that Marley Marl was my cousin.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I knew him as Marlon, as my cousin, as a little boy. I used to get whipped with and catch the ass whippings. but I didn't know he was who that. I didn't know he was that.
Right.
And then from that day forward, it became a personal vendetta to, you know, be in love with this culture. And so I got blessed enough to be at the beginning. And as humble as of the beginning as it was, I was at the beginning. I started to DJ with a bunch of kids we went to elementary school with, and then I started to break dance.
Yeah.
And then my day that I crossed the threshold and became a part of the culture officially, Marley Marl. My mother sent me to New York, and I'm living with Marley Marl. And at this point in time, I'm like, when I say a kid in a candy store, I probably never stared at somebody so long, so hard in my entire life.
Wow.
Because, you know, I watched him, you know, when I got there, this is when he was on, he had just got on BLS with Mr. Magic.
Yeah.
So he's on the 1 and 2s with Mr. Magic, you know, you know. And at that time, I had come out there because at the time, the record, It's Time, remember that? It's Time.
Yes.
That was the hottest thing in the DJ. That was the hottest record in the game, baby. And you know, I was, what?
Yeah.
And so I go out there thinking I'm nice. You know, I'm a tad bit cocky.
Okay.
I get out there, I felt like a fucking pupil at a fucking elementary school to this man. This man made me feel like I had no idea what I was doing. He got on the 1 and 2s and just went to work on it. He just went crazy. And then that once again was helped cement my passion for the culture. Yeah. And then of course I was proud. I'm like, yo, this is my cousin. He's named after my mother, man. You know, we out here in the Queensbridge, and you know, I'm like, oh, this is incredible. Not knowing what it was going to manifest into because it was too early. Right? Yeah. So I'm in this, and I'm not knowing what the fuck it is. I'm just rolling. I just know I love this music. You know, I love all of what this represents, and I'm in.
Right.
So I'm all in it, you know, up to my neck. And then my mother dies. And she died at the beginning of my education, high school education. So right at the freshman year of high school, my mother passed away. And, you know, it destroyed me beyond. And all I could, at that point, my life was in a whirlwind. So the music became that much more important to me because it was like a safe haven. When I didn't want to think about all of the crazy shit that was going on in my life, you know, I would disappear into the music and just hide out, you know, and I would always love to be able to go do a party with my friends so I could stay away from my feelings. So once that, you know, started to, you know, take over my life, I went the wrong way. I started fucking up. I was flown out to Atlanta to live with my uncle, and I was trying to carry the music on, but then that went left, and I ran away, came back to LA. And, you know, at this point, shit was just chaotic. And I ended up with my mother's best friend's daughter and my sister-in-law. And then that's when my life started. And it was tumultuous in the beginning because I got kicked out of Murphy when I got back. Because I went there, but I was so fucked up. It was, you know, it was what it was. And then I went to Fairfax. And that's when it all blew up. And then, you know, I got taken down in 11th grade, and I had to do 6 months. So I did 6 months in this hospital. And that's when my love for hip hop really, really happened, because I became a rapper. And it was off the heels of everything I just told you. It drove me. So while I was locked up, I had the Fat Boys tape. I'll never forget this. I had the Fat Boys tape, and I learned that whole fucking tape, front to back. And so, you know, I just, you know, I was your man. You know, I was like, what? You couldn't touch me. Right. You know? And then that's when I officially fell in love, and I fell in love with being black. So those two things kind of, you know, became what made me. You know, and then at that point, you know, 86, I graduated from high school. And as a matter of fact, the gentleman that Dale and I just talking about, my guy Eric James, that was my partner in crime when it came to hip hop. We used to drive around this Camaro with these 6x9s, just playing hip hop that, you know, that was just unheard of. But we was in the middle of it, sitting in line rims, we was boom, boom, boom all day long, living that experience and that culture that people know and love. And so I never went hungry when it came to the music. Mm-hmm. So when I graduated, I went to school in North Carolina. And, you know, I was 8 hours away from New York. And I would make my runs up to New York to see my cousin. And all of a sudden, he started to explode. So I get up to New York, and he's like, listen, you're going to work for me. You now work for Marley Marl International. So I'm in New York. Who do I meet? I'm in the studio with Big Daddy Kane. We making Set It Off.
This is the origins of the Juice Crew starting to form right here.
Starting to form. You know, obviously, you know, Shantae, I was there for that, but that was like, you know, a lot of people don't know Marley put the first female rapper in the game. And that was Dimples D.
Right.
Dimples D was the first female rapper in all of hip hop.
Wow.
So I was right there for that. And then Shantae. And, you know, I got up there and then I just became a fly on the wall, and I would go back and forth from college to him, you know, and keep taking all of this in and working for him and doing what I needed to do to stay a part of what this new found, you know, culture was about. So, like I said, I watched him make Raw. I watched him make Set It Off. I watched damn near the first album get made. Then I watched Coogee Rap and Polo. I watched Biz. And like I said, I would just go back and forth. But this man became my hero because he's my cousin. Mm-hmm. And being able to stand behind all that came out of him. Rakim, you know, my Melody, and Eric B for president. You know, Eric B slept on the couch, man. Yeah. Eric B was a fucking security guard. And he was a fucking bum. And my aunt was like, Marley, if you don't get his bum ass, you know, nigga a job, he gonna have to get the fuck up out of here. so Marley was like, fuck it. All right, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna be the DJ, and I'm gonna give you a rapper, and I'm gonna make a record for you, and I'm gonna put it on the radio, and we're gonna blow you up, Eric. And that's how it happened.
Wow.
Well, it's funny because in Rakim's book, he describes that, you know, the situation and you know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, Rakim kind of, you know, produced most of his own music. It was like Eric B was more of his, it was a partner for the optics of it, but it wasn't like Eric B was producing, but he talks about that exact thing, that when he met Marley, Eric B was living with Marley.
Yeah, sleeping on the couch. Like he's the nigga. Like, you know how in Martin had Brother Man
from the fifth.
This nigga was Brother Man on the couch. Like you walk in the house, this nigga's on the couch sleep. My aunt used to be like, man, if you don't get the fuck up and get out of here, he was always on the couch. So Marley said, I'm gonna change this for you, because that's how he was made. Marlon was a caring, loving person. So he was like, we're gonna get you a rapper. So what a lot of people don't know is that when we did My Melody, it was supposed to be another rapper.
Okay.
Rakim was by mistake.
Yeah.
That was strictly a mistake that went right.
Yeah.
So
who was supposed to get that, D? Who was supposed to get it?
What's his name? He started with a B. What's his but remember the rapper that could box and everybody was like he could beat up everybody? Starts with a B. What the fuck is his name?
Man, I'm not.
It's only at that point we was talking about who the rappers were that could box. This was him. I forgot his name. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be the one who Eric was going to be paired with.
Okay.
But Biz was because he didn't show up. Biz was like, no, I got somebody. So Ben said, I got this kid from Wine Dance, Long Island, named Rakim. He came. Marley was like, yo, I got a track for you. And Marley played this track. Because you got to remember back then, music was fast. We had raw.
Yeah.
Big, heavy shit was fast. Everybody's records have tempo because it was dancing.
Yeah.
But Rakim was like, man, I can't do that. That's not what I do. So Marley was like, word? Oh, okay, well, fuck it. And he threw together. And
yeah,
the rest is history.
well,
And that's how it happened. I don't care how nobody said. That's just what happened.
Well, then, and the thing, you know, now it's funny because that time range that you're talking about, that 86, 87, you know, it's easy at the time, you know, you didn't know you was on the precipice of hip hop really start getting ready to explode. And I mean, I always have felt like when Rakim came into the game, he changed the game because nobody was rapping like him.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Rapping at the time was very much, as you said, it's about partying. It was about dancing. It wasn't overly complex. The rhyme schemes were very simple. And, you know, Rakim had that monotone, you know, it sounds classic now, but it was that monotone style where you're like, this cat's really kicking some knot. It ain't.
It was different. It was totally different.
Yeah, this ain't Curtis Blow. This
Right.
cat is kicking some lyrics, man. And so he really, you know, I always say he changed the rap game. He changed the rap game because whenever you have somebody, I don't care if it's a sport or an industry, whenever you have somebody who was a disruptor, and he was a disruptor to the industry.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
So I just got it. When you said
absolutely.
I got so excited about that because
everything you're saying is true. Because what happened is when the record came out, it changed the focus of the music. The music started to slow up, and then you got this dude named Kool G Rap, who is arguably, if you really frame the greatest lyricist, gangster, you could say all these other people. But I'll run it back on you and play you record for record. And I will prove G-Rap was in a class by himself while amongst the greatest rappers there were.
Yeah.
Kane will tell you, G-Rap and Kane used to go head up. Because Kane knew G-Rap was the truth.
Yeah.
It's a demo, 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 it's a demo. Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah. Road to Riches.
Yeah, man.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And it was just like on and on. Like G-Rap was like, what the fuck is he?
Yeah.
He disrupted everything too quietly. A lot of people don't realize that about G-Rap because he came with the list, with the
right.
And he was doing it with precision and it was fly. So you had this new influx of slowed down tempos and rhythms to the songs that just, it kind of really indoctrinated everybody into hip hop. Like, this is some next level shit we got going on here. And so, you know, all I was a student at that point. You know, I was learning. I was watching my cousin make all these records with a drum machine, which I didn't know what the fuck that was, you know, but ultimately what I do today is I pay homage to him on levels that nobody else will, because nobody realizes if it weren't for Marley Marl, there would be no today.
Yes.
Right.
This wasn't carried in on the backs of necessarily of Run DMC and you know, like you said, you know, we're playing basketball.
Yeah, no.
You know, no. KB was the man, but that wasn't the culture we ended up with.
Right.
Marley Marl brought in sampling. So the music changed, because before that, everybody was just using live instrumentation and using drum machines for drum sequences, but the drums were, you know, the bullshit that came with the box.
Right.
Marlon sampled a James Brown record by accident and realized what he had done, and it takes a genius to piece something together when they don't have a roadmap to follow.
Right. Right.
So you know, this is why I get real emotional. This is where this motherfucker changed everybody's life. Because we didn't know any of the shit he was doing because nobody had ever done it.
Right.
And I was right there. And I didn't know what the fuck it was either. I just had a jacket. And the jacket said Molly Mall International, and I had the bitches. So I didn't really, you know, I was like, this is outstanding. I don't know what you've done, but boy, am I excited. I was like, my goodness, this thing called hip hop is me, baby. I can't, there's just no better shoe that fits. Yeah. And we started going. And then we, you know, I'm in college, and then I got on the radio. And I became a DJ. And, you know, I had a show, and I would DJ and do the show at the same time. And then I started to do the parties all around Raleigh, North Carolina. So I became synonymous with the radio and parties. And then people realized I was Marley Marl's cousin. That shit shot through Raleigh, North Carolina like hot, you know, like a hot fire. It just seared the whole town. And then I became like this celebrity because I was connected to the most important thing to everybody at that age, hip hop. So I'm walking around North Carolina with a Marley Marl jacket on, and everybody got his tapes playing out their car, and, you know, playing the Canes and the G-Rap, and they like, damn, you just came back from New York. What'd you see? Well, you know, I just watched the symphony get made. Oh! Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was up there. I just watched Cool V on the cut. Cool V on the cut. You know, I watched all of these things happen. Not really. No, I didn't know what it was going to turn into. So I'm. That's why I tell my story is different than anybody's in the world, because I actually was a part of the real true creation of what we have today through the blessing. The universe blessed me with this opportunity. Right? God put me right in the right place at the right time that led me with the right personality. So I'm running through college like the king. I'm throwing parties. Big Daddy Kane came down. He gets on the radio. You know what time it is? He was there. So he's giving me all these accolades. Everybody's, you know, giving me the accolades of being with Marley's cousin and being in the mix. So right before I graduated, Marley was like, listen, you're the first of our family to graduate from college. I want you to get a job. You're going to work for me. I was like, nah, you bullshit. So we're going to keep this show on the road. I'm going to stay in the music business for a living versus getting a job. You know, like I don't have to go get a job at a television station or a radio station. You mean I could get into the music business? Oh, nigga, where do I sign up? I'm there. Shit, what time do I need to be there? So that year, I graduated in 91. It took me 5 years, right? So I come home to LA, I pack all my shit up, and I go to New York City. And I land right in the middle of the beginning of Mama Said Knock You Out. So now I'm like, what in the fuck am I in now? Now, of course I knew who LL Cool J was. Are you kidding?
Yeah, he had
Rock the Bells was one of my favorite records all the time. I was like, oh, hell no, you kidding me? So Marley was like, listen, come to New York, move in with me. So I get there, I move in with him. He like, listen, we got somebody that's coming to move in with us while we do all this. I was like, who? LL. Oh. So LL comes and moves in the house with us. So it's Marley, me, LL, living in the crib. Now, come on, man. Do you have any idea how I felt? How old was I? 21, 22? Marley gave me a red BMW 3 Series in 1991 with 5-star rims and a cell phone. In 91. Yeah, I already know. Yo, nigga.
Being
paid in full. I don't care what movie you talking about, nigga. I was there. Had my 3, it was a drop too. It was a red drop top, candy apple red, rims red. The shit was incredible. And he had a 5 in all red with a phone. So I go from a college bro, you know, I was hustling in college, so I ain't gonna say broke, but you know, I was making my bread, but this went to a whole nother level. Now I'm officially in what this culture really started to represent early on. So LL is living with us. We make your mama said knock you out. So I'm sitting there watching Marley make each of those records, taking samples and sampling that shit together. And then I watch LL take his pad, sit there, be in his socks with a goddamn turban on because he never wanted anybody to see his head. So even while he walked around the house, he never let us see his scalp. We never understood. We was like, is this nigga serious? Is he trying to, come on, Todd? What are you doing? So we made these records. And, we made all the records. The first time I ever mixed an album where I was present. I watched the mixing process. And, man, at this point, bro, there's not enough words to explain. I was drowning in lust. I couldn't believe that I was doing this. Like it was nothing I could say. I was speechless. I was fucking speechless.
So at that time, were you still DJing?
No. At that time, I became an executive. So I started I was managing Marley. I came in on this kind of rambunctious graduate. He had a manager, but I was kind of bogarting her and hitting her in the side with my elbow, like I'm a young killer. I'm helping managing. Not knowing what the fuck I was doing, but they let me play around in the box to get wet, right? So what I did is I called back down to my college and was like, yo, I'm with Marley now. I want you three motherfuckers to come up. We're about to put a group together and I'm gonna get y'all signed. Now I was way ahead of myself doing this, but that's just the eagerness of who I am. Mm-hmm. So I put this group together I went to college with, and they end up being called the Lords of the Underground.
Chief Rocker.
Yeah.
That part.
Rocker.
Yeah.
That part. So, it was a rapper. It was the two rappers, which they were my dudes while I was in college, but I used to son them. They was under me. They was my young boys. So I used to son the shit out of them. And then the DJ, Lord Jazz, that was my DJ partner. So we used to do all the college parties together.
Okay.
So that's what made me pull him up, because he was with me the whole time. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make it into this, and he's not. And I'm, whenever we DJ, it was his equipment. It was his shit. I was like, yo, I gotta bring him with me. And so I made the group, Lords of the Underground. Told Marley to come to Raleigh, North Carolina, and they performed, and he went crazy. He said, you know what? Let's sign him and let's do a deal. And we did. And he made the album. And I'm all over the album, if you believe it or not. And it took us a while to make the album, and I managed the group, and the rest is history.
That's huge.
So was that so Lords of the Underground was that the first group that you felt like I'm really managing out of my own, and I'm apart from my cousin. I have a group.
Yeah, absolutely. But I lived with Marley. I lived with Marley while I did this.
Okay. Right.
So I was still living with him.
Yeah. So this is like, because I'm thinking Lords of the Underground first album, that was like 92.
Exactly,
right,
it was 92.
About 92, and I came.
I got to New York in the summer of 91.
Mm-hmm.
I put them together that fall. We signed a deal with Pendulum Records in January of 92. That's cool. We had already started the album. So by the time we got to them, the album was damn near done. Because I put the first SSL flying faders in a house. I put a studio in Marley's house. I was the first person to ever put an SSL in a house.
That's crazy.
So we had an SSL board in our house. Like I said, with the flying faders and automation and all that shit. Nobody had ever had that. So that was my first task for him, was to put this studio up in his house. And that's what led him to understand that I was task oriented. I knew how to complete a task. I knew how to execute, get shit done. And that's what he started to trust, that I knew what I was doing. And that's why I went to Lords. At that point, it became like, you know what, let's boogie. And when obviously, Funky Child, a classic. Then Chief Rocker, a classic. But Psycho was a classic. Psycho. That was a classic. So that was my first at bat, per se. That was my first shot at the big leagues. And it went off.
Yeah.
And then it got crazy because as do most situations when it comes to this business, the artists started to change because the fame destroys the simplistic part of your life and changes you into a fucking animal. And so one of the members in the group who I'd son through college, he came back to bite me in the ass. And then me and him just got into it. And it fucked up my relationship with my cousin. It fucked my relationship up with them. It just, everything went left. And I moved out of the house with Marley and I went on my own. But I landed at Def Jam. So I went from Marley Marl to Def Jam, which was really Rush management.
Yeah.
What year
so now
was that?
I'm at Rush. Huh?
What year was that?
That was in 93.
Okay.
After we went on that quick run. Remember back then we used to drop singles a little bit faster?
Yeah.
But in distance, meaning that by the time I dipped, we had, when I was leaving, we had just put Chief Rock around.
Okay.
And then I went to Def Jam. So I'm at Rush Management. I'm managing producers. I chose not to even go near the artists because I was fucked up. So I'm managing producers. So now all of a sudden I'm managing the Bomb Squad, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and Q-Tip. Yeah. I'm managing this producer named Sid, who did all the shit for KG. I was managing all of the hottest producers in the music business, and then became Derek, the lone producer manager that people knew me for. So I'm managing all the producers. We boogie in, and then, with that being said, I get a phone call from Boyz II Men, and they like, "Yo, D, come down to Philly." I'm like, "All right, bet. I'm gonna come to Philly. What's good? Just come down. We want you to hear this R&B producer named Butter. Dope as a motherfucker. He did a lot of shit for us, but he's a dope producer, and we want you to come down." And he performs too, but he's really a producer. I was like, bet. So he's playing in Philly at the park. So I get down there. I'm hanging out with Boyz II Men. I'm in the park doing the 1-2, yabba dabba doo. Then, what a lot of people don't know is that there used to be a female rapper in De La Soul. She was on one album. And her name was Shorty.
Okay.
So she kind of cozied up to me, and I cozied up to her while I was at the park. I'm trying to, see what it was worth. But she was like, "Listen, I want you to see something. Take this walk with me." I was like, "Oh, okay, where we going?" I'm thinking, you trying to fuck? Let's make our way. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Yo, where are we going?" I'm in. My name is your friend, and I'm in. Let's go. So she takes me clear across the park where the Greek picnic used to be at. So I go clear across this park with her. She's like, "I want you to see something." I was disappointed. I thought this was to take me off into the trees and we were going to get busy. So I'm standing there with her. We having conversation. And all of a sudden they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, no longer shall we wait. We are now prepared for what you've never seen before. The original Roots crew."
What?
Starring. Then runs out Malik B.
Man.
Then Black Thought runs out. Then Hub, the bass player, runs out. Then Questlove runs out. And they all take their positions on the stage with their instruments and the mics. And then last but not least, here comes this white boy named Scott Storch.
Man.
So this is the original Roots crew. So Shorty brings me over here, and I'm like, "Yo," I'm saying, "What the fuck is this?" She said, "It's a hip hop jazz band." I was like, "A hip hop jazz band? What in the fuck? What is this bullshit? Like, come on, man, ain't nobody gonna get into this shit. This is not it right here." She's like, I'm telling you, Derek, you need to listen. I was like, all right, then fuck it. I'm going to listen. Yo, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. We shall proceed and continue to rock the mic right.
Yeah.
Woo! And then Quest hit the drums, Hub hit the bass, and my man,
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was like, what in the fuck is this? They did this show, and man, I'm telling you, I felt like a woman trying to get it. I was just on them. I was like, yo, man, this is incredible. I didn't think it was going to be this. This is phenomenal. You know, thought you're incredible on the drum. I was like, you're incredible on the mic, Malik B. You're incredible on the mic. I said, damn, that drummer is like a fucking drum machine. He just tick, 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 tick. He's just, what the fuck is that? This white boy plays the keys like he's touched. Yo, I begged I would not leave them alone. We left the park. I just forgot everything. The boys and men could suck my dick. I left them. I was gone. I was out.
Wow.
These motherfuckers was looking for me. I'm off in the brush. We went to a college radio station because I didn't want to let these dudes go because I was like, this is it right here. I could do something that nobody else did. This is a big one. So I courted the shit out of them while I was in Philly. I came back, and there was this woman that my partner at the time, Francesca Spiro, rest in peace. She was like, "Oh, my girlfriend is going to this. She's going from East West to Geffen Records. She's looking for acts." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck are we gonna get them? You know, they got all the rock shit, Guns N' Roses, and all this type of shit. You know, I said they don't even have any, anything closely, related to black.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm telling you. So I was like, fuck it. So I had a meeting with Wendy Goldstein. I'm like, Wendy, I got this band. I'm telling you, these dudes are incredible. I said, you really need to see this shit. This is not for just anybody. And if we're gonna do a deal, it all kind of came to me in 11th hours. Like, if Geffen were to do some black music, they get this. It's a band.
Yeah.
So I bring her down to Philly in her Jeep. We rolling down I-95 down to Philly. We get there, and they perform for her. She's devastated, as I was. So now she's like, I gotta do this deal. We gotta close this deal as soon as possible. I'm closing up all my contracts for my job, but I'm telling you, this is it. I want to do this deal. So I'm like, all right, bet. So she goes on. She's trying to get her shit together to get the job. So then I go back to Russell and Leora Cohen, and I say, listen, Russell Simmons, Leora Cohen, y'all got to trust me on something. Can I please have some money to throw a showcase for the entire staff? It's going to be like anything you've ever seen before. And I was the hot kid on the block in the building because of Marley and the Lords. I was just hot to everybody. I was, like that nigga right there, no, he got ears. So they gave me the money. And so we went across the street. We had this club across the street from Def Jam. And I threw this listening party for the entire staff. We closed the office off for the day, and everybody came over. Yo, they blew the wig off the joint, like destroyed it. So now I'm like, yo, Leora, let's do the deal. He's like, I want to do the deal. But fuck, Derek, this is going to be too expensive for us. This is like you got 15 members in the group. They need to go places, do things. This is too fucking handsome for my pockets. What can we do? And then there was nothing we could do. And then there was another offer that came in through Epic, which had nothing to do with me. So at this point, I'm like, yo, come on, Wendy. You got to close this deal for me with Geffen. She flew us all out to L.A. We sat with David Geffen. My partner and I did a 2-firm deal, which at the time was unheard of. 2 albums, firm for hip-hop. Mind you, at that time, people was getting hip-hop budgets for $35,000, $50,000. Producers were making $500 a track. It just hadn't gone anywhere yet, so it wasn't, it was kind of supply and demand, kind of, when it came to hip-hop. But when we did this $1 million deal, it made me look like, who is he? And they did a 2-firm. It was like, oh, no, this nigga right here, Oh, he's the one. And then that's how the roots happen.
Man,
Yeah.
you done dropped some nuggets, man.
Yeah.
So you could only imagine what I was
And,
feeling.
and I know you got some more, but we gonna press pause on this joint right here.
That's a hell of a story to end on. And
Right.
okay, well, I know we ain't even we crescendoing right now.
Yes. we get lathered up, just getting started.
Yeah, I say that. That's the scary part. That's why, it's hard to tell a story because you don't want to miss anything, but I've had a very blessed career. I've done everything. Like there's nothing we are truly at the beginning of the story. It's not even close.
Right. Right. I'm man, I am looking forward to this, man. I'll say only thing missing from this interview, D, is some popcorn, man, because I need to be up for this.
Oh man.
Nah, man.
That's what's
I
up.
might have to, you know what I might have to do?
What's that?
Because Dale, this is to you, man. I know you didn't know any of that shit I just told you.
No,
but my brother, I wouldn't be here in hip hop without you first, then my cousin.
Hey, man.
That's how much you inspired me. That very day, we all stood around you guys, and you did Rapper's Delight.
Wow. That's what's up, man. All praises the Most High on that one, brother. That's good, man. Your whole career has just been amazing, and I'm loving hearing the story, man. I'm even loving knowing that you fell in love with it like that, man, and you did something with it. You know, some folks can say they love something and they don't really do much with it. You know, they have this nugget and they just watch it, but you definitely watered it, fertilized it. You took advantage of the moment, and that's what's up, man. That's what's
up. Let me say it on the record, man. I appreciate that you had that creative energy at the time because, like we said, you did all the plays. You were the star of all the plays. You was the popular dude, and you had an energy about you, and at the time, that was important for me because my shit was just dismantled. And so being at that age and everything that was going wrong for me, that just it was an inspiration, at the highest level humanly possible. And it was just a source of light for me. It really was. So,
much love there, brother.
You know what I mean?
That's inspirational to me even now. You know what I mean?